There you go. Just making sure that everything is set up. We'll start in, about 15 minutes if you join the stream right now. Alright. I'll quick check for my emails now. Alright. Oh, I did not change the date. Yeah. April 7th. It's not today's. May 15th. There you go. Alright. We'll change that real quick here. Copy and paste because I'm lazy. If anyone knows me, yeah, there you are. I'm not speaking particularly loud this morning because my girlfriend is sleeping. Yeah, in the room just beside this one, so I will try not to wake her up. So, yeah, I'll be right back. wired from everywhere, actually. So I will wait again until 9:50, and after that I will start class. The latency might actually be higher than usual because I've changed some settings, some stream settings in streaming options in order to have a better quality, better visual quality of a better visual quality when showing up stuff from my screen. But in order to do that, I have to increase the latency between the moment I speak and the moment you hear my voice. So I think it's about 30 seconds now. 20, roughly 20 seconds. Certainly 20 seconds of latency, but I'm expecting to, to have, if you live, watching it live, it should be about 30 seconds, maybe between 20 and 30 seconds. So I'm on Zoom at the same time with my students, if they showed up, actually. But yeah, I'll be speaking with my students on Zoom at the same time. We won't be hearing them on YouTube for legal reasons. So this way I can, publicly share this video to everyone who's interested into. But yeah, so it might be, weird sometimes. Maybe I'll be looking like someone speaking to himself, but don't worry, I don't speak to myself when I'm on public. So that's reassuring thing. It's a comforting thing to know. So yeah, basically I will be answering question that comes from Zoom. I'll also answer a question that's that people send me on the YouTube chat section. I'll try to read as much as I can. There you go. Hi Donna. I don't know if you can hear me well, but make sure that if you want for me to understand you while you're speaking, just enable your microphone. Oh, there you go. Donna's connected twice, actually. I do not hear you. If it's what supposed to happen. Yeah, now I do understand you. There you go. I do hear you. All right. Okay. Maybe we would try to address that. I'll try to fix that by using correspondence. Okay. I gotta say that this morning I'm a little bit more tired than usually. Um, so yeah, yeah, I do have a quick story to tell you about what happened yesterday. So yeah, it's hard to, hard lesson to learn from. But am I speaking loud enough? Okay, all right. Because yeah, it's hard to be young, of course. Um, but still, I'm reaching 30s now, so not appears to be younger than I I always been. So I'm 7 years. Yeah, yeah, of course. Oui, effectivement. Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I did not have particularly a rough night, but I did have a rough working day yesterday. So, yeah. For long story short, first of all, I'm not speaking much louder than this. I won't be speaking much louder than this because my girlfriend is sleeping in our room next to this room, next to this the office. Yeah. So if I'm not speaking loud enough, just let me know. I'll try to fix that. Also, yesterday I worked on this PowerPoint presentation all day long. So, you know, no normal day, working day. So I started at 6:30 a.m. and finally completed the PowerPoint sorry presentation at maybe 2 p.m., 2:30 p.m. And yeah, so I leaned back. I'm not quite sure if that's the right way to say it, but I leaned back on my chair and my foot actually stepped on the power cord to my computer, my computer's power cord. So what it does, it actually shut down my desktop computer on which I was working. You know, and I never do that, but I didn't know why I did not save my PowerPoint presentation at that point. Um, I took for granted that it auto saved itself on my computer, but actually it appears to did not auto save my presentation. So yeah, computer shut it down completely. Um, and now that was the moment I started panicking actually. So I was like, no, this isn't real. I'm not losing everything I did since 6 a.m. this morning. So I turned computers back on, and well, fortunately, in my misfortune, it saved, you know, the skeleton of my presentation. It was the theme was saved. I managed to recover, about 50 to 20% of my PowerPoint presentation. So I didn't lost. Yeah, I can see you there. So I haven't lost everything, but most of the work I've done, yeah, were completely, yeah, it was thrown away by my computer, honestly. So, yeah, it, yeah, yes, yes. Actually, the class that we had Wednesday was the class that we were supposed to have on Monday, but the update assignments update kind of thing I want to make this it's going to happen this class. So yeah, it's going to be a shorter I'm not quite sure, do we say that shorter, more short presentation? Yeah, yeah, shorter class this morning, because well, obviously it's Friday and we're on summer semester, so I would be too cruel if I, give a 3 hour long class on Friday morning. I'm not that cruel. I know. I know. I know. And I kind of feel bad sometimes about it, but I'm paying the price as well as you do, honestly. So, remember that for every 3 hour class that I'm giving you, I'm working at least 6 to 9 hours in order to prepare that class. So yeah, I know that you are working really hard, and 3 hours long is not easy actually to manage. In either if you're a student or a teacher, this is really rough. On Yeah. So yeah, like I said earlier, I'm a little bit you know more tired than usually because of that. So yeah, I did stay. No, I was not partying like you pretend that I was doing. But no, yeah, I know it's true. Uh, it's dry. What do you mean by that? So there not nothing happens that you mean? Oh, dry, yeah. Ah, so okay, I completely understand what dries means now. Well, completely understand. Not really because I'm not, I don't drink at all. I did I did it too much when I was in bachelor degree. So now I'm slacking a little. But yeah. Um, so yeah, I stayed up late last night because, like I was telling Donna, um, thing happened. My computer shut down with my presentation done, but didn't saved it. My computer didn't auto saved it. Well, at least not at all. Not everything that I've worked on. So I've lost around, yeah. No, actually, this class is supposed to be course 3 content. Yeah, but the technical part of course 3 content. Okay. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, this class is going to be a little shorter because I won't really give you the opportunity to discuss about assignments. If you do have questions, I know that you might probably have some. Because the first assignment due according to our class syllabus is, if my memory is not too tired, I think is on May 25th, if I'm correct. But I'm not sure. Let's see. Plante cours. Plante cours. There you go. Yeah. All right. We will address also. Yeah, we will also address that at the end of yeah, at the end of this meeting, because I will end the YouTube stream and then address all those question personally to you afterwards. And uh, not a game actually, but digital tools, a digital tool or software. I've deposed I've uploaded on Moodle a list. Oh. So, so how is it going with the other class that you have? I haven't asked you, but I'm curious to know. Yeah, is it, are you surviving or something like that? I know two class and during summer semester is kind of hard for experiencing to have experienced it myself. Um, in my class. Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of d- I tech, but yeah, yeah, because actually there digital is actually kind of parallel universe where they have their own language, they have their own concept, their own theory, their own way of saying things, and it takes a moment. It takes a moment. Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm translating the hard way because this is how my mind my mind actually works. When I usually speak in French, I always, say long sentences with a lot of commas and a lot of, parentheses, a lot of stuff like that. And, I also do have I don't know how it's called in English, but TDAH. Um, a yeah. So I do have a lot of difficulties to really focus on one task at the same time. Now I have to deal four screen at the same time. So this my first challenge for this class, and my second challenge is actually focusing on one idea because yeah, this is something I really struggle dealing with in French, and you can even imagine how it is hard for me to deal with that in English. So um, my mouth won't say something, and my brain thinks about other things at the same time. So it's kind of confusing. So that's why also it takes me, a little while for my brain to switch from French to English. I guess. So yeah, and it's I experienced that because it's the fourth class. This morning is going to be the fourth class that I'm giving you, and I kind of experiencing the the fatigue that comes with second language teaching. Well, teaching in second language. My friend that he teaches to northern communities with First Nation, and he told me that this actually was the his biggest you know challenge, yeah, or adaptation uh, for himself is actually to be able to communicate properly in English. So yeah. I don't know if there's some kind of tips or trick that I can, learn in order to make sure that maybe my sentences are are simpler, or um, I'm not looking that often for my words. I'm preparing a lot of pre-made sentences on my other screen, so you cannot actually see it, but there's a lot of text on my other screen, and sometimes I'm reading it because I didn't find any other way to say it, and yeah, 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 of course. Mm-hmm. No, it's not. I have to tell you. Even though French is, well, I wouldn't say more complex language, but certainly a more complicated to learn language, um, because all of these French exceptions, rules, syntax particularities, and things that for me sometimes makes no sense at all. But you know, language being language, so and yes, so yeah, that's all I can do right now. We- yeah, I saw that, and I'm really grateful for that actually. No, this is my first time. Yeah. Yeah, they warned me. Yeah, maybe. And yeah, they told me about that. That you had great sense of humor actually, and that's comforting to see people laugh when I'm trying to make jokes in English. Because sometimes jokes cannot be translated, and I'm like, yeah, will they found this funny or just awkward? And I'm not quite sure about it, but I'm laughing at my own joke, and that's the only thing that matters to me, honestly. If you don't find yourself funny, how can other people can find yourself funny? So that's my motto right now. So yeah, of course we do. Yeah, of course we do. We have to. So yeah, let's start today's class right away. Because like I said, there won't be too much of theory, or yeah, there will be of course concept and key concept to actually learn for today's class, but there won't be too many theories like we might have discussed during the first three classes. Why so? Because today's class is like the technical part of what we have started to discuss during the first class. So we are really going to enter a more technical world, as I might say, because we're going to look out for how to do stuff. Okay, this is a really how to do class this morning, and how to use um, commonly used tools or software or strategies that will you know help you out for the rest of your life, literally. So and preparing this class, I've struggled to find some article or some information that concerns specifically the teaching world, you know, because we will talk about how to make an effective research on the internet, of course, communicating at the digital era, and if we do have time, I'm not quite sure we will. I didn't have time to prepare that part, so we might not have time to to address it. So yeah, maybe word processing softwares and with an S, of course, or not, because everyone's using the same, word processing software, which is Microsoft Word. Well, not everyone, but most of people. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I'm on YouTube as well, so I'll be recording this class on YouTube. Yeah, I'm displaying PowerPoint. I'm sorry. Yeah, I am displaying PowerPoint. I will depose it right away. Thank you for remind me that on Moodle. Oh, all right. So oops, mute. I'm not quite sure I'll be able to, but I will upload today's PowerPoint on Moodle so you can have access to it. Is that because you're using your cell phone? Okay, all right. Because there's no much, stuff to take notes, and there's not much stuff on that PowerPoint. Everything that's on PowerPoint, I'll be reading it. It's more PowerPoint for me today, so. But I will still upload it. qat.ca on Moodle. If I do remember my password. Yes. All right. Because I don't save my passwords to be autofilled automatically on my Google Chrome because of, security concerns that we will discuss later on. Mes cours 21 shouldn't be long, take long now. There you go. Activer le mode édition. All right. Oh. File add. Sorry. Oh, hang on. There you go. Course for PowerPoint presentation. There you go. 3, 2. So there you go. It should be available. Oh, I do have to admit, don't have to join. Yeah, part 2, course 3, part 2. Because this was supposed to be addressed during the last class, but I speak too much, and we didn't have time to. This is my big problem, obviously. My biggest problem, I should say. Well, teachingly speaking, of course, but so yeah. Is everything set up? Are you able to see the document that I just uploaded on Moodle? Yes, of course. Cool. Excellent. Um, I will also, while you're here, I will also add some. I don't know how it's called. I think it's called timestamps. Under my YouTube videos, in which you will be able to find where you know I talk about something in particularly, so you won't have to search all the way in the video manually in order to find some information. So I will, tag some moments that you will be able to click on uh, and go directly to uh, the selected part of a class. Sorry. So yeah, let me know when you're ready to begin. Thank you. All right. So, uh, oh, okay. So there will be a little delay between what you hear and what, if you, of course, listening. Okay. All right. All right. Perfect. Okay. Cool. So I'm on slide number 3. So I did add numbering on my PowerPoint presentation, which is a good idea when you prepare a PowerPoint presentation. We will discuss about that uh, later. So yeah, what we're going to discuss about today is basically some technical, manipulation that you will have to do slash understand in order to make an effective research on the internet. And what effective stands for, we will discuss about that. But basically, is faster research, and you will be able to find more quickly the information that you're looking for. So yeah, we will address that today. I hope this will help you for the rest of your academic journey, as well as your professional journey. We also discuss about communicating at the digital era. So how digital messaging changed our working condition. We'll also address key concept, norms, and standard regarding the communication at the digital era. How to set up your digital mailbox, and I put an ES because you will get used to it, but you will have to deal with multiple mailbox as long as you will enter the working world, as I should say, the teaching world. And yeah, be aware of phishing, PHISHIING, written that way. We'll explain that later. And advertising as well. So, this class is really, it's a more generalistic class because I haven't found articles or ways to, you know, ad- adapt it in order to answer some question that might be uh, yeah, it's Friday morning. Sorry about that. That might be more specific, yeah, to the teaching world. So yeah, this is not my favorite class at all. I'm going to be honest with you, but I've been told that this class is essential. Yeah, it puts some interesting basis for the rest of your life, obviously. Um, because I think if I speak for myself, one of the main difference that I can remember from me being at, you know, trying to learn uh, teaching profession during my bachelor, and switching to the higher education, upper education, was actually email management and how to properly deal with all the emails that we're sending, that we're receiving. This is a new way of communication. I wasn't, used to it, and I wasn't prepared as well to face all this working additional work that emails come with. So yes, we will address that. And if you do have more specific question, feel free to ask them, because, like I said, this is more a general concerns about those theme that we will discuss. Sorry, today. And if you do have more specific questions and more technical questions, feel free to ask me those questions, of course. So, let's try it right away to how to make an effective research on the internet. This might sound obvious for many people, but experience I've learned me that this is not something that is, I I don't I cannot take that for granted when I teach a class. So in every class that I've given at university, I do always have a part where I speak about how to make an effective research on the internet, because this is fundamental in our era to know how search engines actually works. So there might be some blank spaces in that PowerPoint. Like I told you earlier, I did, had some technical difficulties, to be very polite about it. And yeah, so I did have to start right away. So now Donna is having 3 spaces. Okay. Is it properly connected? Yes. Yeah. All right. So yeah, if so yeah, because I did, my PowerPoint did not autosave properly. I did to redo everything's all over again, and I did started with the part that I haven't completely finished. So the first part might be, in a beta state, if I can say so, but still. So first of all, yeah, how to make an effective research on the internet. We will discuss about key concepts, also where to find information, some searching strategies, and useful functionalities yes, and what to do when we're looking for images. Because yeah, there's some searching functionalities that you have to know actually in order to make an effective images searching on the internet. Yeah, so there you go. So in order to really understand how it works, we must address some key concepts that we most commonly use when speaking of making a research, searching on the internet. First of all, this might sound a little obvious, but search engine. This is the first concept that we have to address. Basically, what a search engine is a computer software used to search data, such as text or a database, for specified information. So I took that information from the Merriam-Webster dictionary. So yeah, basically a search engine is like Google. Google is a search engine. Your university library search engine is also considered as well. Google Scholar. We will be speaking a lot about Google, but there is alternative to this search engine. We will discuss about it. So yeah, basically what the search engine is computer software used to search data. So search data means that it will look at all the web pages, but not all, but most of the visible web pages on the internet. So all the web pages that we all have access to. So there's little, robot, or as we call it in our more digital language, spiders. So there's little spiders. Sorry if you're arachnophobic. I'm not quite sure if the right word, but if you fear of the spiders, we will address a lot of words related to the spider world in the internet world. So yeah, basically there's little spiders that go at multiple web pages and that is created every second and then on the internet, and will index that page. So basically index mean that it will make a copy, like a photocopy of web pages, and saved it into a database that is owned by the search engine that we talk about. So Google has its own database where it stores every pages on the internet. So just think about the amount of data that they have to that they have to deal with. So yeah, that's a big amount of data. We will discuss about how in a more technical perspective how this is done. Another word that we might see much as well is search engine result pages. It's called SERP. This is basically what you see when you do an internet research. So if I go for example, let me open a Google page. So basically, if I do a quick research on Abraham Lincoln, let's say the first name, so the result that Google is showing me right now, when I type Abraham Lincoln on the Google searching bar, is called an searching engine result page. So this is nothing too complex from now on. So it's defined as a web page that shows up after a user generated search on search engine. It's you don't have to memorize those. Of course, you don't have to memorize those definitions, but it's kind of useful to know how to call things when we trying to communicate our searching result or our searching procedure when knowing the right word to use. So yeah, search engine results page is basically everything that shows up when you enter a research and press enter on Google search. Sorry, I muted. No, there you go. I will. Okay. So search engine optimization is also a concept that we have to discuss about, because this is not due to the to some randomness that everything that we see when we do a research, nothing is due to random, nothing is magical. It happens because there's some algorithm that uses a lot of data that we do not clearly not understand as a human being, but like computer are able to understand. And there is some strategies that companies using in order to make sure that when you make a research on the internet, their pages appears to be on the top list on that SERP, on that search engine result pages. So yeah, so search engine optimization according to Search Engine Journal. I'm not quite sure if that's a trustable source, but this, the closest to reality definition that I have found. So the process of optimizing a website as well as all the content on that website so it will appear in prominent position in the organic result of search engine. So okay, I will address that right now. So organic result basically are all the result that is shown to you after research that are not considered as paid advertisement. So, well, make a long story short, I do type in I don't know, loan, let's say, I don't know, book made, for example, I look out for book. So the organic part of my research is actually the top stories, the Wikipedia page, but not this. This is, this result where they show me a Google map and pointed out everywhere, every businesses that actually sell books. This is, paid services that those company use to pay to Google in order to be shown prior to other websites when looking at when searching keywords on Google. For example, Amazon is another example. Google Book as well. So and so on. Some of research that you might make might, be more prompt to show you sponsored result. For example, I'm looking at, let's say, I'm trying to looking everywhere in my, let's say computer. If I type computer, the first result, firstly, Google want to know where my location is, and obviously I will block that because I'm giving enough information to Google. But so if I do make a research with the word computer, it will show me first of all businesses that sell computers. So here you have Best Buy.ca, Canada Computers, Costco, Walmart and stuff like that. So this is non-organic result. This is more like sponsored result, and we do have to make sure that we differentiate websites from each other. Websites that are designed to be to insist us in to buy stuff from other that meant to be meant to inform us. So yeah, in that definition, when we talk about organic result, it's all the results that are not meant to sell us things. So everything like Wikipedia, the university website, and Google Scholar website and stuff like that. So everything that organic result are the results that are not, advertising or stuff like that. Also, when comes the time to speak about web searching, there's a main concept that we have to address, because this is the reason why this is the reason why search engine exists at the first place. So web crawler basically, so a web crawler, also known as a web spider or a web robot, is a program that automated script which browses the World Wide Web, as known as the triple W, in a methodical, automated manner. So how does that work? So if you do think of a spider, how what's the first thing that come to your mind when you think of a spider? Except fear, of course. So if I do ask you that question, what comes first come to your mind when we talk about a spider? Yeah, obviously, yeah, of course, it crawls. They're everywhere, and that's also true. That is also true. They are everywhere. They if we talk about if we think about spiders building a web, it starts from a starting point and grows bigger and bigger um, from a center into extremities. Um, yeah, and this is the exact image of how search engine are able to index web pages that can be found on the internet. I will open a new, let's say, a Microsoft Paint. Do I have Microsoft Paint? I don't think I do have Microsoft Paint. All right, so I will look out for web spider web. So that's a good one. Open link in new tab. There you go. Oops. Open image in new tab. There you go. So you cannot, if you're watching on YouTube, you might notice that well, I present right now an image of a web that's created by a spider, and everything is related to a point or an intersection in order to make sure that web is, stand still and do actually what it meant to be done. So yeah, every intersection between two, I don't know how to call it, but two lines are actually websites, and it's really hard to explain in English though, but every link between those junctions is a link that can be followed on that particular website and is related to another website, so it makes links between websites. And this is how the internet is actually built or created in some way, is by referencing a web page when visiting another web page. So for example, I go to the Wikipedia page. I know that I'm not clear with my explanation, but yeah, ask question as you want if you want more precise information. But if I go into a web page, for example, I'm on the Abraham Lincoln Wikipedia web page. So inside that web page, well, first of all, there's a link, which is the URL, wikipedia.org/wiki/Abraham _Lincoln. This is the URL. But inside that web page, there is multiple links that I can click on, and that will send me on another web page, okay, with a different URL. So basically what web spiders do when they are web crawling, they are clicking, there's no human controlling that spider. Obviously it is controlled by some sort of algorithm and mathematical formula, stuff like that. So what it will do is that web crawling software or robot, it will click on that link on that web page, that is Abraham Lincoln wiki web page, and will index. So they will save every pages that is related to that pages, to that Abraham Lincoln Wikipedia page. So there's a multiple link, so it will click on every link and save the information that is presented on those web pages. So that way, every link that is, available and accessible on a web page can be as well indexed in a database, in a search engine database. So that way, when I'm looking on Google, when I'm typing on Google Abraham Lincoln, I know that web crawler robot have already indexed that web page, and this is what allows me to be able to find that web page when I'm searching different keywords. So I'm not quite sure if that was clear enough. This relatively simple concept to understand, but yeah. And we will discuss about that later this semester. I'm not going too much complex of what an algorithm is, but basically it's a set of mathematical instructions or rule that especially if given to a computer will help to calculate an answer to a problem. The web crawler's problem being where to find information and how to match your searching keywords with result that is that may be relevant to your searching. So this is the kind of mathematical process that's going to the search engine mind, if I say so. So in other words, it's because of algorithms. If the SERP are relevant, so if it is because our algorithm and mathematical instruction or rules that you're able to find stuff when you're doing some research on the internet, on Google, for example. So yeah, we will talk and we will discuss about that later this semester. But as I was looking for information about how to build this class and what information to give you this morning class, I found that the first, and I'm not going into that specifically, but the first ever created algorithm was back in 300 years before Jesus Christ. So if you want to know more about that, basically it's an algorithm that is used in order to discover which is the I will try to express that in English. Le plus grand diviseur commun, the biggest common divider. I'm not quite sure if I'm saying it right, but in mathematics, when solving a mathematic problem, for example, you're trying to know what's the biggest dividing number of maybe 54 and 888, for example. So there is an algorithm that's been invented in 200 years before, 200 or 300 years before Jesus Christ, in order to calculate that, and find that answer. So algorithm nowadays may be associated with computers, but it not have always been. So yeah, still don't have question yet. Everything is clear enough for you. So let's move on. So how does it works? And this is the the most obvious answer that anyone can give you. So first, user type keywords on a search engine. Then search engine can scan web pages that they have already indexed, already saved in their engine's database, and finally search engine propose websites based on your keywords. There you go, your keywords and some of your personal data as well, like where you live and what language you did your research. Sorry, so all the language preferences and other settings that you might have, entered or given to the search engine. Yeah, so they are storing every information that they have on you when you're doing your research. Well, from a business from a business perspective, I should say that this is, you know, the bread and butter for those kind of companies. But on the other hand, this is because they use and they save your personal data while you're doing research. It is because of that they are able to, you know, propose most relevant web pages when you're doing researches. So there's always a darker side of things, especially when it comes to digital technology. So yeah. Why this one is blanked? Was I not quite sure. Well, okay, I will try to adjust that anyway. So how does it work more specifically is well, I think okay, I will adjust that later on. All right. More precisely, I found quick links that you can visit. Yeah. Right now I'm on slide 15. Sorry, I was on slide 12 when I was talking about algorithm, but now I will jump right at slide number 15. So if you do want to know more about how search engine work, and more specifically how Google search engine works, you can follow the link that is available in that PowerPoint presentation at the 15th slide, sorry. And yeah, you will notice as well that the Google guy that's explaining to us how Google search is actually working keep repeating that this is an unbiased process. You know, there's no there's no bias when you do a research. There's no tricks in order to propose you stuff to, you know, insist you to buy something or to sell you something. So, but you know, we keep repeating that even though we know it isn't true. So yeah, be critical while listening to that video. You can watch it later on if you do have time to do so. It is, but even though it's you know, kind of awkward the way he's saying that Google's search engine is unbiased, it is a, you know, great way to represent clearly what, you know, what happens when we type words and press enter on Google search. So yeah, this is a quick video that we always can discuss. And there's also, I wanted to present you that video. I'm not quite sure that you will be able to launch the video from home, but yeah, this is a video made by College Humor, so nothing scientific about it. You know, it's a funny video that tells that shows us if what if Google was a guy, and what if, you know, he has his office and people come to his office in order to ask him stuff, and he do have always, you know, answer to everything. So yeah, you can check that out. It's let's say 4 minute. Oh, it's a little bit too louder. Sorry. This should be, yeah. So I will play,
Google! 6 feet
little
away,
30
please.
seconds of it.
Glad to see you.
I'm sure you have a question.
And so yeah, they made actually they made a version. So this sketch is 6 or 8 year old, or I guess you can look out for the original sketch, which is more funny, but presented stuff that I don't think I'm allowed to show in a class. But you can watch it. It's on YouTube. Um, s- sorry, sorry. Two videos. Yeah, I'm on page 16. Um, yeah, if Google was a guy. So and they made a quarantine edition to that. So I found it very funny. Well, even though it's not scientific or teaching used for teaching purpose, it is a good way to represent to maybe kids or students that you will have. It's a good way to represent how Google is actually working, so in a fun way. So
Google!
we'll try.
Am I glad to see you?
Yeah,
I'm
if you
sure
have
you have
time,
questions, Stephanie.
go look out for this. It's really interesting, funny as well. Um, so yeah, let's move on to slide number 17. Yeah, I told you this class is this class might not be the most popular one, for obvious reason. There's a lot of technical stuff that happens to be necessary that we addressed first. So I'm doing everything on that class. So yeah, Google, where to find information. So yeah, Google, is it obvious that we do find information on Google? Because there still exists alternative to Google search engine. And I might ask you firstly, why? I mean, Google's working well. I mean, I use Google every day and it does actually what I ask him to do, so I do not have to search for alternative. But is there a reason that you might be tempted to use other search engine instead of Google search? If I do ask you that question. You've never so you've never. Yeah, because actually the only search engine that you've been using, well, I guess, was Google. You've been introduced to Google as an universal search engine, and without having this reflection about all the concerns about personal data, about privacy and stuff like that. So there is particularity with Google as a search engine because it's collecting a lot of personal data on us while when we're searching on Google search. So yeah, like I addressed earlier, first of all, this is meant to improve that searching experience, to improve the reliability of result uh, that will be presented to you when you do a research. And on the other side, it also gives Google a lot of money because if I can spoil the class where we are going to discuss about personal data, um, personal data has been, for many years now, the most valuable primary resource on Earth. So yeah, the cost of personal data have surpassed the value of oil actually on the market. So personal data worth more than oil nowadays, which is not so surprising when we're looking at those big companies, which are also the richest companies, and which they give a free service. So yeah, free. I mean, not so free service, but I want to make sure that you know that there exists some alternative to Google search engine, depending on multiple factor. Either if you want to look out for um, everyday ans- everyday question, or even though if you're asking for academic work, articles, scientific articles, professional articles. Either if you're looking for videos, there, search engine that exists beside Google that can achieve that. And I would, like to introduce you to two main search engine that I have found that are alternative to Google. So ironically, I will search. I will go on DuckDuckGo, which is an alternative searching engine to Google, and the main the main particularity that DuckDuckGo offers that Google doesn't is, now it's in French, so I do have struggle translating at the same time. Let me change that. Autres paramètres. I will change the language of that. Yeah, browse. Let's say Yeah, this is not an accurate way to translate stuff. No, there you go. So yeah, we can simply look at the first line on when we searching with DuckDuckGo.com. It's hard to say though. DuckDuckGo.com. So firstly, they're telling us that are you tired of being tracked online? So we can help. And basically, what they say is that they're not collecting any of personal data when we're doing research. So the searching result might not be as relevant as when we're looking by using Google search, but it is much more, let's say, safer to use that searching engine, because a lot much more of privacy settings are being respected that way. So if you do have more particular question about how Google collects our data and how they use it, well, feel free to ask it, but we will address that question when we will discuss about personal data later on this class. So yeah, there's other alternative to Google search engine. There's also a lot of search engine that is attached to some charitable organism. So yeah, like I said, personal data are collected by those search engines, personal data on users, and they are sold in order to run the business. But instead of using those data and sell it in order to grow the company bigger and bigger, they use the found that they collect when we do research on the internet on those particular search engine in order to help a cause. So for example, Search Scene is a search engine that helps fight climate change. So every dollar that they are earning while we doing search on that search engine, I think it's 75% or 70% of what they collect, of what they earn, they give it to a charity. Yeah, they give it to a charity. So yeah, might exist some alternative to Google search, but these are not instinctively used because we're being taught that Google search is the best search engine, which is actually that I don't think no one can argue on that it is of course the best search engine that is accessible to us. But is it the safer, the most safe one? Is it the most ethical one? Those questions can influence your decision about using Google search or another search engine that exists. Yeah. And there's also a possibility when you're using, and I found that very useful. So when you're, for example, on DuckDuckGo.com, there's a possibility that for you to actually search on Google's engine, but without being tracked. So you can enter exclamation point and all the option that's shown to you. I'm not quite sure if you can see clearly, but at screen, but you can search on a lot of website, and Google is on that website, on those possibilities. So if you enter before searching on .duck.go, if you do enter in the search bar exclamation point G space, and you enter, for example, Abraham Lincoln, you will find result on google.com, but instead of but your personal data are not being collected by Google because the search was originally made on another search engine. So it might be a little bit complex to clearly understand how this is working, but now you know that some alternative exists to Google search. So let's go. So I'm on slide 18 now. Still have no question, because it's always surprising when I do not have questions, especially when I when I use a second language. Yeah. So if everything's clear, is everything can be found on a search engine? I wrote down no, not everything can be found on a search engine. Think about emails. So email that we're sending to each other, for example, to this morning email I sent to you cannot be found by the search engine. In this case, Google or DuckDuckGo or any other search engine, because some of the information are stored inside what they call the deep web. And don't be scared about it, because deep web is about 90% of everything that we can find on the internet. That everything, 90% of everything that exists, actually, on the internet. And search engine can only index pages that we do have access to, and not everyone have access to my personal mailbox. So this is the reason why Google is not allowed to index pages that comes from my mailbox, which is actually the messages that I'm sending. Everything though is stored on the internet, on inside a computer somewhere in the world. For example, I'm using Outlook to send an email to the class. First of all, that email will be stored in a computer owned by the company that provides me the service to send you email, and then it will be copied and pasted to be sent to you in your email, in your mailbox. If I'm talking about the deep web here, is because I want to address more. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, well, n- not no. This is. I think he refers to big data. Big data. Yeah. So, no, this is not exactly the same thing because they data are actually stored in your computer and collected by those websites. And here we really we talk about web pages, which is completely different. Because I'll give you a more relevant example of that. You're shopping on internet. So have you ever buy something on internet? Yeah. Okay. So okay. Cool. So when you're for example you're entering your credit card information in order to pay stuff that you buy on the internet, you will notice that the URL of that transaction is actually a unique URL that cannot be indexed by Google's spiders, okay, for obvious reasons, because you don't want other people to find on those search result your credit card information that have been entered into that um, web page, for example. So this is the example of web pages that are not indexed by the search engines, and those web pages are part of what we call the deep web. Okay. I'm not quite sure if that distinction is much clearer now. But basically, everything that is stored inside the deep web cannot be indexed by a search engine because of privacy concern. Privacy. Um, More important privacy concern. Like I told you, email that are sending are stored actually inside the deep web. Commercial transaction as well. When you're consulting when you're looking at your at Moodle, for example, this is you actually um, uh, you actually navigate on the web without on you're going on multiple URL, multiple web pages, but those cannot be found on Moodle because you have a personal access to those pages. And this is also the case when you're looking at if I talk to as myself, when I'm looking at articles that are not available because scientific articles are not available for everyone in the world, because they need people to pay for services in order to have access to all those articles, and stuff like that. So all those articles that are protected with password and stuff like that are stored in the deep web, in what we call the deep web. And some of engines are actually used to find some of the deep web pages. Yeah. How does this work? I do not know at all how does this work, but this is a possibility. And you don't people oftenly fear of the deep web because of what they hear on media and what they read on the internet. so etc., etc. So this one is called deep dive. Deep dive, obviously, for searching on the deep web, but most particularly, this is a search engine that is dedicated to find all the academical, the scholarly research article that are not usually available to common people, to non-scholar people. So yeah, I will do a quick example of that. So, instead of using keyword, we're using common number that are used in order to index different article into different journal. It's called a DOI. So everything that is started with DOI means that this article have been indexed into a scientific journal. So I cannot, at that moment, I cannot have access to this article. Yes, of course, because I've downloaded on my computer, but usually I will not be, I won't have access to that DOI if I'm not, for example, connected to my university's library search engine. So I will try it. So I copy and paste that DOI numbers into that search engine. So, and what it gives me is the exact article that actually I was looking for, which is usually not available if I'm not connected to my university library account. But here, as you can see, it is available for online reading, and we can double check word processing program and weaker readers, meta-analysis for research findings. And if I go back to my article that I was looking for, this is the exact same title as the article I was looking at. So so basically this article is protected by some sort of subscription thing, but now with that particular search engine, it is available for me, completely available for me. And if I do make the same research on the internet, so I will see that, well, now I'm logged on my university library account, so I do have access to that. But if I wasn't registered in my computer, this might not be possible for me to access that document. So yeah, this is a way to have access to knowledge if you're not registered in a particular university or scholar institution that gives you normally access to that. So yeah, is deep web a concept that you can understand a little bit more right now? So if no question, I'll be moving on to the next slide. So slide 19. Yes? Sorry. Okay, cool. So yeah, so some searching strategies. Well, first think of what kind of information you're looking for. So is that an information for educational purpose, working purpose, entertainment, etc., etc. So you'll be more prompt to use a certain search engine instead of others. Oops. so yeah, you will then be able to select the proper search engine. For example, Google Search, Scholar, your university database that we will discuss about later on. Some search engine have specificities. So like we talked earlier, features, some specific organization's mission, some privacy settings, etc. If you're doing everyday research on Google, what I recommend to my students when I'm talking about that is using keywords. And I underlined the word key because try to use a limit amount of keywords when searching on the internet. This way you will be able to find much more relevant result. So yeah, specifiers are not keywords, so trying to avoid those. Also bring a synonym dictionary with you if you're not finding relevant result with a word. That might happen to you when comes the time to do some research with your with the ICT tools that you will have selected in order to complete your synthesis project. So bring a synonym dictionary with you. So this way you will be able to look out for much more possibilities. Always add, if possible, websites or organism to your keywords. So if I'm looking for ministerial documents, so I will enter a keyword that is actually related to that organism. And also don't waste your time with website on page 5, more like on page 3 and up. So because pages will be redundant. The more pages you're going to see, the less relevant they are going to be. So yeah, I will do a quick example. Oh, I will address that first. All right. So some searching strategies. So if you're doing everyday teaching or studying related research, some sort of research. So yeah, adding organization, I think. Okay, yeah. Organization, journal name, author's name, year of publication is always a good idea. As an example, if I don't know, here. If I'm looking for that particular article, so I have information about the author's name, so Paul Morphy and Steve Graham. I do also have the information about the year the year it was published. Springer Science and Business Media is also another information because it is the journal that in which that article was published into. So yeah, I do have a lot of information and not only the title. So I can simply enter Murphy and Graham 2011 word processing programs, for example, and the first result that it will show that the search engine will show me is that particular article, because it will combines all of these keywords and will show you and will firstly show you the web pages that contains all or most of the keywords that you've entered. So this way you make sure that you're finding the exact information that you're looking for. And this is also why it is so easy to know if to recognize plagiarism. Sorry for pronunciation, but if you copy and paste a thing that you find on the internet, is actually really easy to find where it comes from by Control C and Control V, copy and paste on that search engine for a sentence or an idea that might look a little bit too suspicious, because it will, search on the internet for if there's any website or page or article, etc., that containing the exact same words in that exact same order. So yeah, it's really easy actually to find, to know that. And using Boolean function, and we will address it right away, can always help to filter the information. So now we're going to enter in the more, technical part of searching on Google. So if I'm on google.ca and I'm looking for, once again, let's say Abraham Lincoln. Okay. So there's, I try to make that bigger so we can clearly see. Let me check out. So yeah, so we can clearly see what I'm talking about. So basically what you have when you're searching on Google, you have certain layouts. For example, for all, not everyday searching. You have images tab, the videos tab, news, book, and more. So for example, you're looking at web page or at an image or video or news, you get it. So yeah, and there's also that setting option, and that search setting that is really interesting, and not much people know about. It actually will help you to really specify what kind of information you're looking at, and what to include and what to not include into your research. It's always a good idea also to set up language, okay, your language preferences. I do always turn on safe search when I'm doing academic research and I'm presenting it live or in front of a class. So if you go on setting and turn on safe search, basically what safe search is, it is something that will exclude, at least the not safe for work web pages that have been indexed by might have been indexed by Google. So this way you don't have bad surprise when you're trying to find on the fly images about a word related to a keyword in the search bar. So yeah, settings. So safe search. You can also hide private results. What is private result? Is basically result that uses your personal preferences, where you located at, in which country, what language you use, etc. So all the information that you give to Google are used in order to make research more relevant. But if you decide to hide private result, it will just show you less relevant result, but it will continue to collect your private data. Yeah. Advanced research, search activity, your data in search. So if you want to know more about how data is used in order to personalize your searching experience. And yes, so basically if I go to search settings, I can, set all the basic settings, preferences, in order to refine those results. But if we go to advanced research, and this is I think this is the most important part about searching on Google. So when I'm talking about Boolean, Boolean functions, like here we have the apostrophe. Is this? Sorry, I don't know how to say it in English, but the quote things. There's other functions like an and or cite, to point, etc., etc. So we will get through some of them that I found really useful. So if you don't want to memorize those Boolean functions, there's an option where you can go into settings and advanced search. So it will send you into that page where you can, gives more precise information about what you're looking for. So maybe, for example, I'm looking at the impact of ICT on learning, basic research. So basically, if I do enter that on my Google search, it will, do that normal Google thing that you do when you're looking or searching, at something, for something. But with the advanced research, what it is allowing you to do is that you can select, for example, here, exact word or phrase. So, for example, I want to make sure that ICT is included in every search, in every result that is presented to me when I'm looking at ICT impact on learning. But I don't want to that specific research concern the, let's say, tablets, okay? Because a lot of research are done with, tablets, and I don't want them to be shown on the result of my searching process. So any of these words, tablets, none of these words. No, sorry, any of these, none of these words. So yeah, tablets. Number ranging from. So if you want to look out for a specific year of publishing or you don't want to have anything that is older to 2000 and, let's say, 2010 to 2010 to 2020. So you just enter that range. So it will look out for numbers that are included between 2010 and 2020. So yeah, preferred language, if you want, let's say English. Region, I want that searching result concern especially Canada. So I will select Canada, and the last update, well, anytime. So I can also look for a specific website or domain. For example, I want that every result are found on comes from a government website. So basically what I will enter is .gov.ca, because I want that all research end up all URL that are found ends with the .gov.ca, which stands for Government of Canada, or .qc.ca for Province of Quebec government. But that's .gov.ca. Terms appearing, so I can choose if terms that I have entered right here, if I want them to appear in anywhere in the page, in the title of the page, in the text of the page, in the URL of the page, or in links that are included on that page. So let's start with anywhere in the page. Save search, so I want to filter explicit results. File type, so if I'm looking at any particular document on the internet, I can select what kind of document I'm looking for. For example, if I'm looking at an article that have been published in a scientific journal, most commonly those articles are available in PDF, portable document format. So I will for example, select PDF if I want to select so. Google Earth, Microsoft Excel, PowerPoints if I'm looking at Word document or rich text document or etc. etc. So I will leave that to any format. And the usage rights. So if I want to search thing that I can reuse, make sure that reuse in the sense that you're distributing, you're sharing the document or the file that you've downloaded. If you want to be free to use, share or modify even for a commercial purpose, you have to select that. So in order to respect all of those copyrights rules that exist. So yeah, and then simply click on search. So we don't have any result on that, okay? Because our searching was too specific, okay? I think my cats are playing with the wire. I'll be just back right away. Hang on. I told you this was going to happen. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So, yeah. So maybe my searching parameters were too specific. Let's say. Oh, okay. I should have done something. All right. So let's say our searching parameters are too specific. So let's go back to advanced research. All right. So maybe there's nothing that concern these word on .gov.ca, or maybe I just have to. Okay. All right. So maybe nothing concern that site of domain. So yeah, I'll just erase that. Yeah, and I will also clear the number ranging from. So basic searching here. So what it does actually here, you can see on that searching tab right here, is that impact on learning ICT are the words that I use in order to make research, and minus tablets. So what the minus stands for here is one of the Boolean formula or Boolean procedure that you have to use in order to filter your research. So the minus stands for I don't want that. Okay, so minus tablets, that it will search everything that exists on the internet and everything that does not have the tablet word, sorry, in the website. So I can see here there's many results. Usually Google is proud to show us how many results you have found. So yeah, so I'm sure that everything that's presented here doesn't have like the word tablet. So let's go back to, there's too many results here. It is not filtered enough. So let's go back to advanced search and say that, yeah, let's say ICT. I want that exact word within my research. And if you look at the right of blank space where you can enter words, it explains you what. Oh, there you go. It explains you. I'm not quite sure that you can see it on screen right now, but it explains you what every of these function actually use it for. For example, the this exact word or phrase. So I've entered ICT, and it told me what actually I have to do in the search box if I am not using the advanced search. So these are Boolean operators that are used in order to be more specific. So you can use that. So advanced search. So I decided to include it specifically the word ICT in my research. So every website or every pages that are presented to me include that ICT, specific ICT word. And you will notice how it is written in that search bar. So it does included those. Not quite sure how to call it. I do not know the word for the quote symbol that you use in order to in order to find for a specific word. But this is when I'm talking about Boolean formula and Boolean strategies or stuff like that. This basically what I mean is the uses of those particular symbol in order to filter your research. And if ICT or let's say digital. So if I write ICT or digital like this, maybe I would quotation marks. All right, so if I do write ICT or digital inside a quotation mark, this actually means that I want Google to look out for the word ICT or the word digital, but it must actually include one of those words. So if I do enter, it will present me different result regarding to what I've just entered in my Boolean recipe. You can also add the and between two words, so it will look out for both of those words. And if I leave that without any or and between ICT and digital words, it will look out for the exact formula that ICT digital. So I'm not quite sure it will found much thing, but yeah, like you can see here, or cannot see. Sorry if you're on Zoom, but yeah, ICT, comma, digital literacy and education change, blah 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 blah. So yeah, it showed me result that include both of those words in that exact order. Yeah. Or if I ask you, class, if I ask you, did you know about any of those Boolean strategies that you can use in order to refine your make your search more relevant? Yeah. Okay, so you will find it actually really useful, in particular when comes the time to exclude some words of your research, because yeah, you will be confronted with a lot of information that you don't want because they are not relevant, and yeah, you can use those strategy in order to clarify that searching those searching result. Don't know, you were about to say something, I guess. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is quick strategies that you can use. I have too many things opened at the same time. There you go, my PowerPoint presentation. Yeah. So using those Boolean function can help you to filter the information, of course. And also, yeah, I discussed about safe search option, setting up preferences, for example, language, country, etc., in order to filter the information to add more relevancy to it. Having additional libraries database into to increase the pool of information. Yeah, this is one of I think this is my favorite function about searching on Google. If I can find where my... Oh, there it is. Alright, so hiding library only works on Google Scholar. Have you ever used Google Scholar search engine before? Yes. Alright. So CHOL. So if you go to Google, scholar.google.com, yeah, for this little story about Google Scholar, I did everything that I use as an information or scientific information in order to complete my to write my my master essay or thesis. I don't know how to call it, but everything that's related about looking for scientific information, stuff like that. Only thing I used was Google Scholar. So all the information that were accessible, possibly accessible in order to complete my master degree was find using the Google Scholar research tool. So this was only to express you how powerful this can be and how accessible knowledge can nowadays be. So when you're on Google Scholar, the first thing I do is at your upper left corner of your screen, you have this tab of different options that you can select. It's represented with three horizontal lines. So at the top left of your left corner of your screen, so you have these multiple options where you can find my profile, my library, alerts, metrics, advanced search, and settings. So if you wouldn't be long. Yeah. So if you click on settings, and within that settings, there you go, setting option page, you will have, well, search results, languages, basic things that you will also find on Google search engine. But there's a library links button that you can actually click, and you can add different library that you usually have access when you're logged on your university account, when you do research on your university search engine, but not necessarily will appear when you do a normal Google Scholar research. So what that library links tab allows you to is to simply add different library from different university that you have access to. For example, I will type, I'm quite sure if I have to, I will simply type Université du Québec and do a little quick search, and it will show all of the university library databases that exist regarding to the keywords I just entered. So if I want to select, for example, there is no University du Québec en Abitibi-Témiscamingue, unfortunately. Well, that's surprising. Okay, well, I've studied at the UQTR, so I will select that library and click the save button. So every now and then I will make a research on Google Scholar. It will include result that can be found on my university's library search engine. So this way I don't have to repeat the searching process on Google Scholar, on my university search engine, on other search engine that I might have access to, etc., etc. So it concentrates all the information, so you will have access to a much more larger pool of information. So if I type, for example, ICT, it will show me, not with that research, not especially with that research, but sometimes it will indicate me that, for example, here the PDF is available on that website, and some of the times it will say that the document that I'm looking for is available within my university library, directly to my university library. So this is useful option that you want to have access to using Google Scholar, which is actually a very powerful tool when looking for a scientific and professional document. So yeah, I will just speed up the pace a little bit because I'm looking at the time right now. Looking for images, yeah, of course. So if you're looking at images on Google, ICT impact on learning, for example, you also have those settings, and those settings that are available, the same setting that you use to specify when you're doing a normal everyday research on the net. But there's a tool tab that appears here, and it gives you access to different other options that are particular to image searching. For example, the size of the image that you're looking for. If you want a big picture, so when presented in front of a class, it's not you cannot see those pixel the usage rights, which I barely discuss. The type of file that you're looking at is that a clip art line drawing drawing, sorry, or a GIF, and also the moment that that the image have been put in online. So these are additional tools, additional settings that helps you to refine those searching result, especially when you're searching images. So these are also can be very useful. Yeah. So yeah, once again, make sure that you have double checked the copyrights credential when you use an image. So yeah, be sure you're doing it right. Well, this being said, no one will arrest you in front of your class if you're presenting a picture of a cat that not have been specifically give you the access to reuse it or in any ways. So yeah, it's just for a moral concern, basically. And yeah, if you want to learn more about some ethical concern that we don't have, unfortunately, the time to discuss about this morning class, but if this topic seems interesting for you, you can follow that link, and it will give you access to an article I found that is talking about those concerns, those ethical concerns. For example, the search engine bias, where some of the search engine can show you or propose you websites that might not be the more relevant for your searching keywords, for your searching needs, but because they paid some certain amount of money in order to be at the top of the result when looking at specific keywords. So yeah, there's ethical problem with the opacity and non-transparency for that concern. Privacy, consent, and non-voluntary disclosure of personal information, monitoring, surveillance, democracy, censorship, and threat of liberty and freedom. Yeah, this is going as far as treating our liberty and freedom. So yeah, we will discuss about that, like I said many times before, during the class, that concern more particularly the personal data. Sorry. So yeah, this was the first part of it. Going a little bit faster for the next part. Sorry if I am slower than expected, but do you have any questions so far regarding the how to make an effective research on the internet? Because this part you will be using a lot when in your academic and professional sphere. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. And it is. Yeah, first of all, it's Friday morning. So, second of all, it's I don't know what the temperature is in Abitibi-Témiscamingue, but right here is cloudy. So yeah, it's raining. Yeah, yeah, it's great and it's not very nice. So we're in the same mood right now. So I will answer specific question if you do have. So you can send me an email or something like that. So I will be available for that, of course, or ask question if you do have so right now, so we can clarify some unclear information that I might have been given. Yeah. So I want to discuss. Sorry about quickly discuss about communicating at the digital era, and I think I might change the formula because I want it to be a more, interactive way um, of presenting stuff. So yeah, I ask the question. I ask myself the question of how digital messaging changed our working condition, I really want you to maybe talk about that question or that issues of digital messaging and how it actually is changing, because you don't want to speak for yourself, but not quite sure you were used to use actually the email system before university. So how it changed your the way you communicate, how email changed your the way you're communicating. Yeah, I'm trying to make full complete. Yeah, right. Yeah, in your life. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Uh huh. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Answer faster. Yeah, exactly. Because everything's going faster than we usually do things. And of course, it's called direct messaging system, but not direct response system. And sometimes we just forget. It's not a direct answer, but instant messaging. So yeah, of course, it's changed our working condition, and I tried to find some research that have been made on how emails actually change the way we are working in class, but I couldn't be able to find research that concerning the teachers' reality in particular, but more working space at large. And I found some very interesting stuff that, well, first of all, at the slide 29. According to studies, emails might raise anxiety, exhaustion, and overload and chronic stress. So these are, well, the main findings that I have read in those studies. It might increase also task pace and workers' capacity of multitasking, but there's no proven effect. There's no proven answer, no answer that have proven the link between usage of email and increase of productivity. So it increases the task pace, but not quite sure it increased our productivity at work. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh huh. Yeah, of course, because emails are not commonly used communication system by. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And some people, like you said, prefer using text messaging, which kind of the which have the same kind of negative effect as email, like they told in the studies that I have consulted. So yeah, it also raising anxiety, because what authors were telling us is that the moment you take switching from a working mindset and an everyday life mindset, um, ask the individual some energy, some cognitive energy in order to switch your mindset from a work to from personal to work space. So with all the new technologies now, you can receive emails on your cell phone. You can have access to your mailbox so much more easily than you might have access 20 years from now. So the simple action of taking out your cell phone from your pocket and looking at your email demands the human some cognitive energy in order to accomplish that task, which might, firstly not sound like a very demanding task, but authors, sorry? Oh, uh, okay, it's all right. So this is what they call, transition between a work mindset and a personal life mindset, and accessibility to our email boxes increase the amount of transaction our brain is actually asking to do in during a day. So it of course increase anxiety, exhaustion, overload, and chronic stress. But you know this has become the norm of the way we communicate with each other. Email has become a working norm, standards, if I say so. Yeah. So I found some quotes that are really, relevant, which say constant connectivity allows for greater productivity and seemingly unconscious impact on employees during non-work hours. Because yeah, of course, checking your email and answering to emails is actually considered as working time, and unconsciously, if we do answer to quick emails, it also considered by our brain as working time. So it is affecting, yeah, of course, our energy, and the amount at the end of the week, the amount of time that we've passed working. So yeah, but also the act of checking emails, like I was telling you, requires the individual to mentally, even if unconsciously, transition to work roles and shift domains with not only intrapersonal consequences, which we discussed, like stress and stuff like that, but also interpersonal consequences, like when you do have the impression that you're someone else, you're daydreaming, or unconsciously thinking about work, thinking about emails and stuff like that. So it increases some interpersonal consequences, sorry. And as former teacher, you will be asked to reply and write emails. So I felt that it was a great opportunity for me to not by going to much deeper details about how it affect us mentally and emotionally, but yeah, just to let you know that you have to do some, you have to redefine borders, and it's even more important when it comes to technology. Redefine borders between work and personal space. So it is much more harder to do that when we have a technology that allow us to check our email instantly on our smartphone. So yeah, it have the advantage of being connected all the time, but it also have the disadvantage, like we just discussed, of raising stress and invading our personal life. So make sure that you're aware of that. And also find curiously the it has the way that emails, the way we communicate with emails and other digital online platforms. It's also has some concerning issues for historian, because history is made by reading some text and books that have been written, physical material that have been written by our by people in the past, by past society. So in this way, we read those letters, we read those those artifacts, and in order to really understand how society was working that time. But with emails and digital with digital is transforming the way we communicate, that the way we transfer information, the way we create all of these artifacts actually when digitally created. Well, not everyone have access to my mailbox. If I'm a historical important person, future historian will have some struggle to find that information, because everything is digitally stored and not digitally accessible to everyone. So it might lead to eventually future concerns for historians who want to really understand what society, actual society was working. So yeah, I feel like I'm feeling much more and more exhausted. So it might also it is certainly more clear when I'm less clear when I'm speaking, but you can actually notice how switching to English affect my mind right now. So I really have much more struggle than I had earlier this morning. So I will go really quickly about. I'm not even sure if I'm going to discuss about all of what I've planned to discuss about, because we're almost done. Time's always almost up for today's class, and I think I will address that during next class. Yeah. So make sure I'm not missing anything. So yeah, I've planned to talk to you about how to set up your personal mailbox, and how to set up your personal signature. So every time you're sending an email, it automatically create a signature that automatically paste the signature that you have created at the end of your email. So it feels more personalized and more professional way of sending messages. I also wanted to discuss about all the phishing concern, and in French it's called hameçonnage. So phishing is basically malveillant email that is sent by people who want to yeah, sorry, I was reading something else at the same time. So yeah, so because it's Friday, and because I'm way too tired right now to make complete sentences. Yeah, three classes in the same week is actually really energy consuming, if I can say so. So yeah, what will happen right now is I think I will end the stream right away, so we can have the 30 minutes that is left for answering question about assignment and stuff like that, to make sure that everything is clear to you, everything that is on assignments, it's clear to you, so you can have enough all the tools in order to complete those assignments. So yeah, I will stop the stream right away, but I will continue discussion in our Zoom virtual room right now. So yeah,